The room was huge, cold, and full of strange smells. Creatures from every corner of the galaxy stood together. Some had 4 legs, some had wings, and some had skin that changed colors. They were rich, powerful, and cruel. They had come to the spaceship Draxion Prime for one reason: the meat auction. This was not normal meat. These were living beings, rare, strange, and sometimes still moving. Some creatures were sold for food. Some were kept as pets. Some were used for worse things. A tall alien with silver horns stepped on the stage. He was the auction master. He spoke in a deep voice. Now presenting the final item of today's auction. The lights dimmed. A soft blue light appeared in the center of the stage. Then she walked out. She was unlike anything the crowd had seen before. She was tall, with smooth skin that looked almost human, but it glowed slightly, like soft moonlight. Her hair was white, long and floating, as if there was no gravity. Her eyes were silver and calm. She didn't look afraid. She didn't look sad. She looked peaceful. The auction master said, "This is item X99, grown in the labs of the lost planet Sarakai. Bio-engineered, perfect body, no defects. Strong muscle, clean cell structure, high taste value." He paused, then added slowly, "She volunteered herself." The crowd whispered. That was not normal. The girl stepped forward and spoke. Her voice was soft but clear. "My body is perfect," she said. "You can have me for food." The room went silent. No one moved. No one spoke. Even the cruelest aliens didn't raise a hand. A few blinked in surprise. Some leaned back, confused. One alien laughed nervously. "She wants to be eaten?" A lizard-faced alien whispered. "Is this a joke?" asked another with spider eyes. The girl stood still. Her silver eyes moved across the crowd. She was waiting, but no one came forward. Not one, until a voice spoke from the back of the hall. "I'll take her." Heads turned. Creatures twisted their necks. All eyes searched for the voice. He stepped into the light, a human, thin, dirty, wearing a torn shirt. His hands were tied, but his eyes were steady. He was a slave, like many humans in this part of the galaxy. The auction master looked confused. "You, a human? You cannot buy. You are property." The human said nothing. He just looked at the girl on stage. She looked back at him, and for the first time she smiled, a small, soft smile. Like she had been waiting just for this moment. The auction master laughed. "Interesting. Very well. He will take her." "For food?" The crowd laughed too. Some clapped. Others watched with cold eyes. 2 guards walked forward, unlocked her cuffs, and pushed both of them toward a side door. "Enjoy your meal," one alien said, laughing, but the human didn't smile. He didn't laugh, and neither did the girl. Inside a small metal room, the human and the alien girl sat on the floor. The guards locked the door and walked away. There was silence. The girl spoke first. "Why did you speak?" she asked. The human looked at her carefully. "Because you looked like someone I once knew." She tilted her head. "You don't want to eat me?" He shook his head. "No." "Then what do you want?" "I want to know, why would someone offer themselves like that? Are you really food?" She was quiet for a moment. Then she said, "I am not food. I only said that because I needed to find someone." "Someone like me?" he asked it. She nodded. "Someone human. Someone different." He looked at her glowing skin, her strange eyes. "You're not human," he said. "No," she agreed. "But I was made to understand humans. I was made in a lab." He was shocked. "You're an experiment?" "I am the last one," she said. "The others were destroyed. I escaped." "Why did they make you?" She looked down. "I don't know. Maybe to become a weapon. Maybe to replace something they lost." The human stood up and walked to the door. "We need to leave," he said. "Why?" she asked. "Because they'll come back. And if they find out you're not food, they'll take you apart." She smiled again. "Then we escape together?" He looked at her for a second. "Yes," he said. "Together." The room was dark, quiet, and locked from the outside. The human sat on the floor, back against the cold wall. His eyes watched the girl. No, not a girl. The alien being sitting across from him. She was still glowing faintly, like a soft blue light. Her hair floated gently in the air. Her silver eyes never blinked, yet didn't feel cold. They felt curious. She didn't move. She just looked at him. Finally she spoke. "You are not afraid of me." The human shook his head slowly. "No," he said. "Should I be?" She didn't answer right away. Then she said, "Most are." The human looked down at the floor. "Most are not human." Silence again. After a moment, he reached into his dirty pocket and pulled out something small, a broken water bottle. Half full, he slid it toward her. "Drink," he said. She stared at the bottle like it was something ancient. Slowly, she picked it up and drank. Her eyes closed for the first time. "That tastes like rain," she whispered. The human smiled. "A little, that's what it is, rainwater." They sat in silence for a few more minutes. Then he asked, "Who are you really?" She looked at her hands, glowing veins, perfect skin. "Not a scar, not a flaw. I'm called Unit X99, she said. "But that is not my name. I don't think I was given one." "Then choose one," the human said. She tilted her head. "Can I do that?" "Why not?" he replied. "You're free now." She looked at him. Something changed in her eyes. A tiny spark of hope. "I like the name Aaliyah," she said softly. "Aaliyah," the human repeated. "That's a good name." The lights in the hallway flickered. A deep, low hum filled the air. Something was wrong. The human stood up and moved to the door. "What is it?" Aaliyah asked. He pressed his ear to the cold metal. "They're coming," he said, fast. Aaliyah stood up too. "We have little time," the human turned. "Then tell me now, what are you?" Aaliyah looked straight at him. "I was created in a lab on the planet Sarakai. The scientists there were trying to build a perfect life form, not just strong, but peaceful. Not just intelligent, but wise." "Why?" "To stop war," she said. "To change the galaxy, but the leaders didn't want peace. They wanted power. They wanted to control you. They wanted to weaponize me. But you offered yourself as food?" She nodded. "It was the only way I could escape. If I pretended to be worthless, no one would chase me. But now they know you're alive." She looked down the hallway. The hum was louder now. "Yes," she said. "They're coming to take me back. Or kill me." A loud boom shook the walls. Lights turned red. Alarm screamed. The human grabbed her hand. "Can you run?" She looked surprised. "Yes, then let's go." They ran down the hallway, passing doors, pipes, machines that hissed steam. Behind them, heavy footsteps echoed. Guards. Hunters. And someone else. Something heavier. They reached a side panel in the wall. The human pulled out a tool from his belt, a stolen magnet key. He pressed it to the lock. Click. The panel slid open, revealing a narrow tunnel, full of wires and shadows. "In there," he said. She crawled in first. He followed. The tunnel was tight, barely enough for one person. Sparks flickered from old cables. As they moved forward, Aaliyah suddenly stopped. "What is it?" he asked. She reached out and touched a wall. A small glowing screen appeared. "This is part of the ship's memory," she said. "A maintenance hub. I can access it." "You can talk to the ship?" "Not talk," she said. "Feel." She pressed her hand on the panel. Her body glowed brighter. The screen blinked rapidly. After a moment, she whispered, "They have sent a bounty hunter." The human froze. "Who?" "Name, Korvar, hybrid, cold, efficient, he never fails." They exited the tunnel into an old storage bay. Dust, broken crates. "No one else." Aaliyah turned to him. "I need to tell you something," she said. He nodded. She held out her hand. A small ball of light appeared in her palm. It floated, warm and soft. "I can control energy," she said. "Not much, but it's growing." He stared at the light. It felt peaceful, but powerful. "I think I was made to evolve, to become something more than my creators expected." The human nodded. "And they're scared of that." She looked up. "Are you?" He stepped closer. "No, I've seen fear." "You're not it." Suddenly, a metal door across the bay slid open. A tall figure stood there. His armor was black, face covered, and one red eye glowed. "Korvar," Aaliyah whispered. The bounty hunter raised a weapon. "Step away from the prototype," he said. The human stepped in front of her. "No." Korvar tilted his head. "You Are a slave, you don't get to say no? The human's voice was calm, but steady. I'm not a slave anymore. Korvar raised his weapon higher, then he paused. You've changed her already, he said. Interesting. The red light blinked above the door. Weapons hummed. Heavy boots echoed. The air in the room had changed. It was no longer quiet. Korvar. Var had arrived. He stood tall, over 7 feet, half metal, half flesh. His left eye was robotic, glowing red. His armor was black with sharp lines, and his voice sounded like 2 voices speaking at once. His weapon was pointed at Elia's heart. You have 3 seconds, he said. Step aside, human. But the human didn't move. He stood in front of her, arms wide. No, he said. Korvar didn't blink. Why protect her? She's not your kind. She's not even real. She's more real than most creatures on this ship, the human replied. Korvar lowered the gun slightly. He seemed curious. She has touched your mind already, he said. Strange. The others couldn't do that. Behind the human, Elia's voice came gently. Leave him alone, Korvar. I'm the one you want. Korvar stepped forward. That is correct. He raised his gun again, but before he could fire, the room changed. The light above flickered. The floor vibrated and Elia began to glow. Her entire body was surrounded by a soft, golden light, not blue like before. It was stronger now, warmer, her hair lifted. Floating like silk underwater, she raised her hand, and something impossible happened. The weapon in Korvar's hand shook, then melted, falling to the floor like soft clay. He stepped back, startled for the first time. You weren't supposed to grow this fast, he said. Elia's voice echoed, but not loud, just deep, calm. You don't understand what I am. The human grabbed her hand. Now's the time. We run. Elia nodded. They turned and dashed through the open door behind them. Alarm screamed louder. Priority target escaped. Lockdown in progress. The corridors were confusing. Metal walls, blinking lights, heavy doors, like a maze. The human led the way. He had memorized some of the paths from years as a slave. Elia followed, silent and fast. Behind them, Korvar was chasing. They passed a group of workers, small bug-like aliens, who scattered at the sight of Elia's glow. Then ahead, a closed security door. Can you open it? The human asked, out of breath. Elia placed her hand on the panel. The machine glitched, sparked, then opened. He looked at her. You're learning fast. I'm remembering, she said. They entered a hangar, big, dusty, full of old cargo pods and unused escape ships. This is it, the human said. One of these can get us out. Elia looked up. Wait. She closed her eyes. The room quieted. She raised both hands slowly, and a small cargo ship nearby lit up. Its systems turning on one by one, engines humming, doors opening. The human looked amazed. How? I'm connected to tech, she said. Not all, just some. Machines understand me. You just made that ship come alive, he said. I asked it nervously. She smiled suddenly. The walls behind them exploded. Korvar stepped through the smoke. His armor cracked, but his red eye still glowing. Enough running, he said. The human pushed Elia toward the ship. Go, start it. What about you? I'll buy you 10 seconds. The human picked up a broken metal rod and faced Korvar. It was no match for high-tech armor, but it was enough for a distraction. They fought, the human ducking and swinging, Korvar dodging easily. Korvar slammed him against a crate. You are brave, he said. But weak. Then suddenly the ship's engines roared. The bay door behind it opened, revealing the dark space outside. Elia stood in the pilot's seat. Korvar, she said calmly. He turned, and then he saw it, her eyes glowing gold. The ship's panels responding to her thoughts, her hands not touching anything, just guiding the machine like a conductor with music. You were never food. He said. No, she replied. I was a seed, and then she released a pulse of light. Korvar's systems froze. His body locked up. The red eye went black. The human ran into the ship. Coughing. She helped him to the co-pilot seat. Hold on, she said. The ship blasted out of the hangar, into the cold darkness of space. Behind them, alarms screamed. Fighters launched. But Elia was already bending the ship's Energy like thread, she was one with it. The stars flew past like rain for a long moment. Nothing was said, just breathing, and space. Finally, the human spoke. You saved me. She looked at him. You saved me first, he smiled weakly. You're full of surprises. She looked ahead. I'm not done surprising you. The stars outside the window moved slowly now. The ship had stopped. It floated in the empty dark, silent, alone, hiding near the edge of a broken moonfield. Inside the cockpit, the human checked the controls. Are we safe? He asked. Eliya didn't answer right away. Her glowing hands rested on the console. Her silver eyes stared into space, but not at the stars. She was listening. Finally, she whispered, They're scanning, but not near us yet. The human nodded and leaned. Back in his seat, his arms ached. His ribs were bruised, but they were alive. He turned toward her. You okay? She gave a small nod. But I feel something strange. What? Someone? Familiar, not like the others. A soft alarm beeped. The radar blinked. A small ship was approaching. 1. Engine, no weapons active, slow and steady. The human frowned. That's not a patrol ship. Eliya stood. No, that's someone who already knew where to look. The strange ship docked with theirs using a silent magnetic latch. No explosions. No alarms. Just a calm, slow knock. 3 times. The human picked up a wrench. It wasn't much, but it was something. Eliya walked to the door. Let me open it, she said. The door slid open with a soft hiss, and there he stood. Tall, wrapped in a black coat, no helmet. His skin was pale gray, his hair was white. One eye was human, the other was golden and artificial. He stepped inside. Calm, almost polite. I mean no harm, he said. The human raised the wrench. That's what the last guy said. The stranger smiled slightly. I'm not here to fight. Eliya stared at him. You're not fully human, correct? He said. My name is Vayar. I'm a hybrid, like her. They sat in the cargo bay, the human, Eliya, and the stranger. Named Vayar, Vayar opened a small case. Inside were old papers, photos, strange tools. I worked at HFY Research Labs, he said. Long ago, you helped build her? The human asked. No, Vayar replied. I helped destroy the others like her. Eliya's glow dimmed. Why? She asked. Vayar's voice was quiet. Because the council feared you. Feared what? Vayar looked at her with something close to regret. You were made to evolve. Faster than anything. Think faster. Feel deeper. Connect to everything. Machines, minds, matter. You were not a weapon. You were a seed of something. New, but they didn't want new, Eliya whispered. No, they wanted control. The human leaned forward. Then why are you here now? Vayar looked at him. To offer you a choice. What choice? Vayar reached into his coat and pulled out a small crystal. This is a location key. It leads to the last HFY vault. Hidden, off the map. What's inside? The human asked. Answers, Vayar said. The truth about her future. Eliya spoke carefully. And what do you want in return? Vayar paused. I want you to stay hidden. Don't fight. Don't resist. If you run far enough, maybe the council will forget. The human stood. That's not a choice. That's surrender. It's survival, Vayar said. Eliya stood too. You don't believe in me. I believe in what I saw before, he said. The last version of you. She burned cities. Silence filled the room. Eliya walked forward. Her eyes glowed softly. I am not her, she said. Vayar looked at her, then at the human. You've already changed her, he said. More than science ever could. The human stepped closer to Vayar. What if she's the one who saves us all? Vayar smiled sadly. Or ends it all. He placed the crystal on the table and turned. I've done what I came for. At the door he stopped. One last glance. To the council you are already gone. Dead in the auction. Stay that way. Then he left. The dock disconnected. His ship vanished into the stars. Later, in the quiet of the ship, the human held the crystal. It's a trap, he said. Maybe, Eliya replied, but you want to go. She looked at him. I need to know what I was made for. He nodded, and I'll go with you. Eliya stepped close, her voice soft. You keep choosing me. He smiled. That's the easiest choice I've ever made. Location, the core. Ring orbiting star Arctos, Council Sector A giant golden structure floated in space, bigger than a planet. Shaped like a circle that never ended. It glowed softly, powered by suns, protected by hundreds of warships. This was the Council Ring, where decisions were made for the entire galaxy. Inside, 13 seats stood in a circle, 13 leaders, 13 species. Each one old, powerful. Dangerous. No humans were allowed here. No kindness lived here. A deep voice spoke first. The girl is alive. It belonged to High Speaker Vrax. A creature with glass skin and a brain you could see moving inside his head. Another replied, voice like steam and metal. She was supposed to be destroyed with the other prototypes. A third, whispering with 5 mouths, said, you promised she could not evolve. They all turned to one screen in the middle of the circle. It showed a still image, a girl glowing gold. Standing inside a ship? Melting a bounty hunter's weapon with only her mind. Vrax stood. She is not a child, he said. She is a mistake. A key that can unlock things we were never meant to open. But she was made for peace, another argued. Vrax slammed the table. No. She was made by humans, desperate minds playing gods. She is not human, but she loves like one, thinks like one. And that is what makes her dangerous. A tall, winged alien spoke from the shadows. I suggest we end this now. Erase the last lab. Erase the Earth. There was silence. Then, slow, terrible agreement. One by one. The council nodded. Meanwhile, aboard the small ship, hiding near a dead star, the human looked out the window. Space was quiet, but his mind was loud. He held the small crystal Vea had given them, the map to Sarakali's last hidden lab. Aaliyah walked in, glowing softly, holding something strange in her hand, a broken memory card from the ships. Systems, I found something, she said. She touched the card to the wall. A broken video played, glitching, flickering, a lab, a baby. Floating in a glass tank. The scientist in the video whispered, Unit X99 shows unusual empathy. She sings when she thinks no one is watching. She connected to my daughter's music player by accident and cried when she heard the song. The clip glitched again. She is learning emotion faster than logic. I fear she may be more human than we expected. Aaliyah stepped back. Her glow dimmed. I was never just an experiment, she whispered. No, the human said gently. You were a person. They just didn't want to see it. Suddenly, a warning light blinked on the dashboard. The human ran to it. Oh no. What is it? Aaliyah asked. The council has sent something. It's not a ship, it's a weapon. On the screen, a large red dot appeared, pulsing, heading toward Earth. Aaliyah stepped forward. Her voice was clear. They want to erase me. They want to erase everything connected to you. The human said. Aaliyah touched the screen, her fingers glowing. The red dot stopped. For just 1 second. Then continued. She pulled back, breathing hard. I need to get stronger. The human grabbed a data pad. We follow the crystal. Go to the vault, learn the rest. Aaliyah looked at him. You're not afraid I'll become something else? He shook his head. I've already seen what you are and I trust it. Beck? On the council ring, High Speaker Vrax looked out into space. Earth has always been a noise, he said. Now we will bring silence, one council member asked quietly. What if she stops us? Vrax replied, then she is not evolution, she is extinction. Somewhere in deep space, a small ship drifted near a dying white star. The heat didn't reach them, but the light pulsed like a slow heartbeat. Inside the ship, Aaliyah sat alone in the pilot's seat. Her hands weren't touching anything, her eyes were closed. She was listening. To the engines, to the circuits, to the stars, and something else. She heard Earth, not its voice, its feeling. It felt warm, busy, fragile, and endangered. In the back of the ship, the humans stared at a glowing map. The crystal Vea had given them was guiding them to a small planet not marked on any star charts. It was dark, cold, and almost invisible. The final Saraka vault, he whispered. This is it. Aaliyah opened her eyes. I'm ready. They landed in a crater of black stone. The vault door stood tall, silver, and smooth. No buttons, no locks. Just waiting, Aaliyah stepped forward. The human stayed behind her. She raised her hand. The door opened. Inside. The walls glowed with quiet blue lines. A voice echoed, not loud, but calm. Welcome, Unit X-99, final interface unlocked. They walked through halls filled with data crystals, floating screens, and strange machines. Long asleep, one room opened, and something floated in the center, a mirror made of liquid light. Aaliyah touched it. It showed not her face, but images. From hundreds of humans, a mother rocking her baby to sleep, a child learning to walk, a man crying while watching the stars, a woman holding someone's hand on their deathbed. Tears filled her eyes. The human stepped closer. What is it? Showing you? Why I was made, she whispered. Not to destroy. Not to fight. She turned toward him. I was made to choose. Suddenly the screen changed. A live feed. Earth. The red weapon was now close. A swarm of dark drones around it, glowing with destruction. 30 hours until impact. The vault voice spoke again. Protocol Omega. Transfer of consciousness. 1. Option. Merge. Connect to world mind. Activate planetary shield. 1 risk. Identity loss. The human looked at her. What does that mean? Eliah's face was calm, but serious. If I connect, I can stop the weapon, but I may not come back. You mean you'll die? Not die, she said softly. But I may not remember you or myself. I'll become something greater, but no longer me. The human looked away. Quiet. Then. He said, there must be another way. There's not, she said. They built this as the final hope. Then I'll go with you, he said suddenly. Aaliyah smiled. You can't merge with a planet. I'll wait, he said. Even if you forget me. She stepped close enough to hear his heart. Why do you keep choosing me? She asked. He touched her hand because no one else did. But I saw you. I see you now. Back on the council ring, High Speaker Vrax stood before the galaxy's rulers. The weapon is hours away. Let Earth burn. Let this story end. But far away, in the dark, something was waking. Something. Golden, final scene inside the vault. Aaliyah stepped into the circle of light. Her skin glowed. Her veins turned to starlight. Her eyes filled with every memory the galaxy had forgotten. The human stood at the edge of the light, watching her with quiet eyes. She smiled one last time. You taught me something no science ever could. What's that? He asked. That I was never meant to be feared. She paused. I was meant to be loved. Then the light swallowed her and she was gone. The sky over Earth changed. The weapon arrived. The council ships watched from far away, waiting for fire, for ash. But instead, the clouds turned gold. The sea rose into the sky. The ground hummed. The people looked up and saw a giant shape form above them, not metal, not alien, a guardian made of light, of memory, of Eliya, and it spoke, not with sound, but with feeling. You are not alone. Earth. One day later the skies were quiet. No fire. No smoke, no screams. Only peace. People came out of their homes, looking up. Clouds were gold and slow-moving, like the sky was dreaming. Birds flew higher than usual. The ocean was still. The world had been saved, but no one knew exactly how. Only one person did, and he was alone. The human stood on a hill near an old observatory. The air was clean. The stars above were sharp and clear, but his heart felt heavy. He looked at the sky, whispering one word. Aaliyah. There was no answer. Not in sound. But something had changed in the world. He could feel her in the grass, in the wind, in the very way light touched his face. She wasn't gone, but she was no longer just her across the galaxy. The council ring was silent. High Speaker Vrax stood before the empty chamber. The weapon had failed. Earth was untouched. Their ships had been turned away, not by force, but by something more terrifying, a presence. A golden field now wrapped Earth, a living shield of energy and emotion. Nothing could enter. Nothing could harm it, Vrax whispered. She became the world mind, another member said. She became hope. And they all understood. They could not control her anymore. They could not touch humanity now. They had lost, back on Earth. The human wandered into an old schoolyard. Children were drawing in the dirt. One little girl stood up and pointed to the sky. "Look," she said, "the stars are different." Everyone looked. She was right. Among the stars, a new pattern had formed, not made of stars exactly, but of light, almost like a constellation. It looked like a woman's face. Smiling gently, the children didn't know who she was, but the human did. He sat under a tree. He pulled out a small music player, something ancient, almost broken. He played a soft song, and as it played, something moved in the air, a shimmer. A pulse, then a voice, her voice faint, warm, not in his ears, but in his chest. "I remember you." He closed his eyes. "I remember why I chose you?" Flashback, that moment in the auction hall. She had stepped forward. Sighed, "My body is perfect. You can have me for food." No one answered. Except him. He had seen what no one else did. Not a weapon, not a mistake, just someone alone, asking to be seen. And he had said, "I'll take her." Back in the present, the voice spoke one last time. "You made me believe I was. More than code, more than design, I was real. Because you chose me first, now I choose all of you." The light in the sky pulsed once, softly, like a heart beating in space. Then faded into the stars. Epilogue. Years later, Earth became a mystery again. No alien ships returned. No war came, but people changed. They grew kinder, smarter, more connected. Some said it was science. Others called it luck, but the human, now older, knew the truth. They had been chosen. By a girl made in a lab, who became a light in the sky, and who gave everything not to destroy, but to protect, not a weapon. Not a god, just someone who finally knew what it meant to be human.